Welcome back to the Union Street Podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hope you've had a wonderful holiday season. A Merry Christmas. We have a very special episode today in the studio with Lawrence O'Neill and Maggie O'Neill.
We're back.
Here we are.
Yes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us back.
The audience has been wondering, what have you guys been up to? But this isn't about that. You guys are here to help me look back on Union Street 2022.
Yes, that's right.
It's been a big year, a year of many firsts, you could say. So we're going to go back and look at the top 10 moments of 2022 for Union Street Arts.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's been a lot, so I'm excited to get into it and reflect, because that's sort of what the end of the year is for. Reflecting back so you can set new goals for the next year ahead.
Yeah.
Keep listening, because there will be things in this episode that have not ever been revealed to the public. So you want to keep watching to the end of this video. Listen to the end, because we have some exciting news we're sharing for the first time right here. So thank you again. So this is going to be a little bit of reverse. You guys are going to be asking me questions as we go through this list, David Letterman style, the top 10 list for Union Street Arts 2022.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Get into it.
Get right to it with the number 10. So, Luke, what was the number 10 top 10 moment of 2022, Union Street Arts?
I'm so glad you asked. So number 10 is people coming to Union Street Arts. The people that have been in the studio this year is definitely one of the big highlights. We've had a lot of people in. We've gotten to connect with new people, reconnect with some old people that I've known. And so it's just been great to have this space for just sort of like people to have a destination to come to connect, and yeah, to create new memories too. Gosh, all the way back in January, Maggie was here with Morgan. All the way from Sweden.
Morgan was here in the summer, but I was here in January, actually. I mean, I was here at the beginning of the year, and I worked some here for some days at the beginning of January. And we stayed the night here one night, me and you. I had an exam in the middle of the night.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I slept in this studio.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that was at the very beginning of the year.
And so we've had that. We've had lots of different people. Shout out to Daniel Schweitzer. He stopped by on his tour with Frozen Broadway.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was really cool. So just even Daniel Robinson, just an old friend that we watched the World Cup here recently. And we were able to just do that here. And so it's been a great year to connect with people and people being introduced to our space. So that's definitely a highlight.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Yeah, we've had a lot of lunches here.
Yeah.
That we get food from restaurants around town, bring lunch over, and just enjoy being in the big space.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's been family events here this year too.
Churros and Chocolate is a bilingual faith group that uses our main space. So there's a lot of Spanish speaking that's been happening here as well throughout the year. And so that's been a big part to see those families come through, and just, we'll get into some more of the moments as we get through this list. So, just connecting.
Yeah, nice.
All right, Luke, so we're going to move on to number 9. What's your number 9 top moment for Union Street Arts in 2022?
Number 9 is the Union Street Art Fair and Southern Illinois Rock and Roll Show that we had back in May. It was our second year doing our Union Street Art Fair. We had 20 vendors that were here, local artists, local handmade goods. It was an interesting day. Lawrence, you were here for that.
I got to be here for it.
And it was supposed to be out on our back lot, our grassy lot here at Union Street outside, but the weather did not cooperate. So we had to pivot that morning and move everything inside.
Yeah.
Do you remember the scramble?
I do. And there were some tents that had been set up in the back lot space. And at one point, the weather got really intense. Torrential downpour rain. It got really windy. And then somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, a tent just blew down the street." So I'm running to go chase this tent that had blown down the street.
Oh
I had
boy.
to go retrieve it.
Wasn't it a cab driver?
Yes, it was a Marion cab driver.
There you go.
So Lawrence went running after it. But we did have we did move it inside. We lost some vendors, but we lost our food truck, but it still happened. The mayor of Marion, Mike Asher, came by. He gave a nice speech. Lots of people came out from the community, and we were able to facilitate it still, even though it was pouring down rain. I remember as soon as we gave the mural presentation, which that's later on our list too, after the art fair, it was still raining, but we had a rock and roll show that night with Bad Ghost and Trophy Shop Band. And that was a lot of fun. Bad Ghost actually recorded their EP, their debut EP, in this very room, in this studio. And so we did like a rock and roll show, Southern Illinois rock and roll, in our main room as well. Tons of fun, tons of rocking out. People of all ages came out, young, old, everyone in between. So that was really cool. And that was definitely a big highlight, was the Union Street Art Fair and Southern Illinois rock and roll.
Yeah, the art fair was a big success, even though the weather changed.
And we're hoping to do it again for the third year coming up in 23. But we're still reflecting right now.
So tell us about number 8. What's your number 8 top moment of 2022?
Number 8 is White Oak Wedding Films being the official videographer and photographer for Miss Illinois. So that was a big deal. For those that don't know, Miss Illinois Scholarship Organization is the pathway to Miss America. And so it's hosted here in Marion at the Civic Center. And I was actually a judge in the previous year for one of the panels. And I was approached by the organization this year to do the video and do the photo. So I was with Miss Illinois all week, doing photos, doing video, capturing everything. It was a big undertaking, a huge week, but it was very exciting. And it was a huge highlight for us to be able to do that. And so White Oak Wedding Films, Miss Illinois, yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And the Miss Illinois competition brings in a lot of people from around the state to Marion, which is exciting that your work gets to be shared on a big statewide level too.
Yeah, it was a very, very proud moment for us. And shout out to Reese for being on the photography side on the live show because, that's, can't miss the moment, and we were there to get it all. So shout out to Miss Illinois. And that is definitely another big highlight.
Okay, nice. Moving on to number 7. What was the top 7 moment of the year?
Number 7 was our Visit SI commercial campaign. So we have been working throughout the whole year with the Williamson County Tourism Bureau on creating a video campaign highlighting restaurants, retail, nightlife, outdoor action, and just trying to promote tourism to come to Williamson County. So throughout that whole process, we've been able to meet a lot of business owners, go a lot of places, have a lot of really great conversations with people that are in our community. And it's been an amazing opportunity just to meet those people and get them to know that, hey, this is what we do too. And it's been amazing, the response when we show up to do these video shoots, how just appreciative the people are that we're there, that we want to highlight them, that they've been chosen to be in this campaign. And so that was a big highlight. And so we're looking forward to finishing that project actually this week is our final deadline, and we're getting our last edits finished. But yeah, the Visit SI commercial campaign, it really has opened a lot of doors, and it's just been a huge highlight and blessing for the year.
Where are some of the locations that you filmed for the campaign?
So we all within Williamson County. So for outdoor, we've done the lakes, Little Grassy, Lake of Egypt, Rocky Bluff Trail. We've done Walker's Bluff several times. That's a huge up and coming venue, premier venue in the county. Winery, John Brown's on the Square, 618's Hap House, Teddy's and Heron, which Maggie actually got to be a part of that.
That's right.
And when we walked in, everyone was saying, "Oh, she's a movie star, a movie star."
No.
It happened. I'm telling you, it happened.
I believe that.
She's modest, but it did happen. And so, yeah, that was great. More places, more retail spaces, Eccentrics Boutique in Carterville, Posh in Marion, Lavish in Marion. We went to antique stores in Johnson City, Heron, Cakes by Alley in Heron as well. Gosh, the list goes on and on.
It's a huge list.
It's a big list, and it was a huge year-long undertaking. And we're very excited that that is starting to come out again. And just, I've got a lot more ideas for follow-up projects for that, more travel show style, getting just more in depth and like doubling down on the content and the relationships that we've been able to build this year and saying, okay, what else can we do? We've got these relationships, this content, and let's make some more cool things.
Yeah. It's cool. It's been a cool project. I mean, especially being from Williamson County, it's cool that you were a part of that project. So it's cool.
Yeah, it's been a dream project, really. Gosh, when I moved back in 2018, 19, I remember thinking, man, it'd be cool to do something just like this with Visit SI. Boom, and it happened. So it's cool to see that come into fruition for sure.
And the list that you were just sharing really had a wide variety of different activities, different things for people to do in Williamson County, which is really cool. There's a lot to do here.
There is. And so one of the big things is live here, work here, play here. So we're trying to promote that and just really honestly get people to move here. That's what they want. Want people to come back. So we're trying to promote that as much as we can. It's been a great project to be a part of.
Yeah.
And we've had an amazing crew too. So shout out to the entire production crew that has been riding with me on that whole project because it's been a lot, but it's been good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, I think we're moving on to number 6. Number 6, let's hear it.
Number 6 is White Oak Wedding Films in general. We had a great wedding year for White Oak, but also in Des Moines, Iowa. We were able to go to Des Moines and actually film my cousin Andrew Molenbrock's wedding, Andrew and Danny. Shout out to Andrew and Danny. And that was really special to be able to capture all of that for the family, for Andrew, and have Lawrence there, Maggie there. It was a hot day, as I remember.
Yeah, it was about 100 degrees, like literally.
Yeah. Unusual heat for Iowa.
Yeah.
Very, very. But it was at a beautiful winery, lots of corn around, very Iowa. And that was our first wedding actually we had ever done in Iowa. So it was great, great thing, very special. And then again, we were just able to do a lot of weddings here in the Southern Illinois market too. And so that's a huge highlight. It's just the wedding company, and it's steadily growing, and we have more plans for that in the coming year as well. There's so many great wedding venues here in Southern Illinois. A lot of people don't realize that, but probably about half of our clients for the weddings are not from Southern Illinois. People don't really know how much people would travel here just to get married. And so a very common client of ours would be somebody who went to SIU. They met there. They, moved away back to Chicago or moved to Colorado or wherever, and then they get engaged and they want to get married back here where they met in college. So that's a very common story. So a lot of people don't live here, and they're bringing in hundreds of people for the weddings. So I see a lot of potential and more growth for weddings just here locally too.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's a lot of beautiful locations in Southern Illinois to get married, and the affordability is also probably a big aspect of it too, where getting married in Southern Illinois would be more affordable than getting married other places.
By a lot.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. And so these people come down from Chicago because it's literally half or even more off of what they'd be paying in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, and just the natural beauty here is it's just so nice. I mean, it's different than just a couple hours north of here. I mean, the state looks totally different here than it does in the other parts of Illinois. It's a special part of the state, really.
It is. And yeah, that natural beauty, that's really what our greatest resource is here as well, is the Shawnee National Forest. You know, we have the bluffs, the winery, and there's just a lot of like rustic venues. And there's a lot of new venues too that people don't know. People have built within the past 5-10 years, and they're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful venues. And, I love getting to do weddings, going to these amazing locations, amazing clients, celebrating in a beautiful day. It's just a great job to have. And I'm, thrilled to be able to do it. So White Oak Wedding Films, number 6.
Great.
Big highlight.
All right, number 5, which is always a good number. Tell us about number 5, top 10 moment for Union Street.
Number 5 is the Union Street Arts Summer Camp.
What was that?
You guys might know. Lawrence O'Neill and Maggie came back to host a kids' summer camp that was filled with arts and learning and just all things creative. And it was a huge success. The parents were thrilled. Lawrence, maybe you can talk a little more about that since you spearheaded that whole project.
Sure. Well, it was an arts summer camp, and we wanted for students to be able to do a lot of different types of art. So they did dance, they did theater, they did singing, they did visual media art, they did watercolor painting, just exposed to a lot of different types of art. And something that's really great about this space is the size of the space. So we were able to host over 30 students during our summer camp. And then also another great thing about this space is the outside lot that we were able to take advantage of. We were able to play games outside, water games. So we kept the kids really busy for the whole camp. But partially because of the size of the space, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun. The kids had a lot of fun. And so did we. I mean,
we did.
It was fun.
We did. And I love that picture with the kids in front of the mural with the Union Street Arts shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of that next generation.
Yeah.
Giving them some opportunities, for things that we didn't have or things we would have wanted more as kids. So we're excited to be able to provide that for the youth. And shout out to Lawrence and Maggie for help making that happen, because it wouldn't have happened without you.
It was a lot of fun. We're glad that we're able to do it.
Yeah, and so a lot of familiar faces were there, a lot of new faces, and when some parents were like, "Can you do this next week? Can you do this before school starts?"
Yeah.
Well, if Lawrence was here, we could, but he's going back to New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he needed summer vacation too.
Yeah, that's true. But the kids actually came into the podcast room too, and were able to get into the podcast, be able to talk to the mics, hear the sound effects. So again, just exposing them to like some new technologies that maybe weren't around, So it was exciting.
Yeah, and Mom and Dad worked a lot on the camp too.
Shout out to our mom and dad.
And Barb. Barb was here some days too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a village.
We could not have done it without them.
Definitely.
For sure.
And there's some stories we could tell, but offline
Yeah.
in some of the prep.
Yeah.
We'll keep that for our family.
Yeah. So we'll move on to.
If you want to sign our Patreon, we'll release it there. $5 will get you.
And on that note, we'll move on to number 4. Tell us about it.
So number 4 moment for this year was the Swamp Fox mural. This was a huge special thing.
Yeah.
And it could have been higher on this list. It could have been number 1, but this was a project that Antonio Martinez, my old photography professor, came to me, probably a year before, and saw our murals, came to the space, and was just really inspired and wanted to get involved and see what he could do, what we could do together. And he came up with the idea to offer a class at SIU, School of Art and Design, a street art mural class. And through this class, independent study that he offered, there was a mural that they did on our northern wall. And I have to say, it's my favorite mural I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is. So many different like small moments within the mural that it just make it really special.
Yeah, so through the process of literally every single step, like the research and development, there was a huge attention to detail in every step, and working with a local historian to tie in stories of history that could be told through the mural. And this mural uses wildlife to storytell about the community. And there's aspects of the mural that actually, when Daniel was here recently, I always show people the mural when I give them the tour. And there's an indigenous recognition in the part of the mural. And he said, I don't think I've ever seen an indigenous representation in Southern Illinois, like in that regard. And he's in British Columbia right now. And that's they do a great job of kind of recognizing the prehistory. So anyways, that was a big thing. And then the Swamp Fox itself, it was just a huge, it's just a mind-blowing piece of art. And it's just art. That's the beauty of it. It's just a huge art piece. And so that's still hard to believe it even happened, but it did. Mm-hmm. And we have this beautiful mural now.
Yeah, I mean, when you drive here and you turn the corner and you see it, it's just, it's unbelievable. Because I remember I was home in the spring and it wasn't totally finished by the time I left. So then when I came back again in the summer, it was totally done, and just, turning the corner. And it's a pretty magnificent piece of art. So it's really, it's my favorite mural around too. Mm.
When you see it, it's really evident the dedication and labor of love that went into it, because it's just so detailed and beautiful.
Yeah. Really, really just unbelievable. Like the amount of effort and creativity that went into that thing. And collaboration. It was a huge collaboration between the students, between Antonio, you helped paint, Lawrence. There was a lot of people that had a hand in making it happen. And wow, it's a huge special thing. And like I said, that could be number one on this list, but it's not. It's number 4.
Yeah, it's number 4. And now we're going to number 3.
Number 3. Number 3 is our commercial premiering on the World Series.
That's pretty big.
That was big.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. And so it was through our Visit SI commercial campaign that we had talked about before in this podcast. I'll just say, I was sitting at home with Mom and Dad in the library, and we were watching the World Series, and I left the room, and then all of a sudden I hear music. I'm like, wait, I know this song. We made a commercial this song. And sure enough, it was our commercial on the World Series. And, that was a big deal because it was our big break into TV advertisements. Again, just sort of getting a further reach, further audience. And sort of just kind of a really big validating moment as something like the World Series. It's a premium ad spot on Fox, and so beyond the local market of just like regular news. So that was a big deal, and for those, maybe not be as big of a deal for maybe someone who doesn't care about baseball or watch TV at all, but there's still a huge place for TV and broadcast advertisements. And so we're just looking forward to do more of those kinds of ads in the future. And so this was just sort of a huge moment to say, hey, look what we can do.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, congratulations with that.
Thanks.
Cool. Okay, Now we're moving on to number 2. We're moving through the list. Okay. Number 2.
Number 2 is launching the Union Street podcast.
Wow.
Whoa.
So that's a big deal because, man, it's something I've always wanted to do. I've helped other people launch their own podcast and produce other podcasts, but really just being able to have conversations with people that I wouldn't have without the excuse of having them on a podcast. And it's been a huge learning experience for me. I've had some amazing conversations. I've had some important conversations. I've learned a heck of a lot. And, you know, it's been a great experience. And so that was definitely one of the big highlights of this year. It's like, gosh, I've had so many cool guests on, but I'm trying to think of like, what was the best, my favorite episode or my favorite few episodes. And I tell you, when I had Paul Elledge and Antonio Martinez here, that is definitely one that sticks out to me. Paul is like a photographer that has photographed people from United States presidents to people on death row and everything in between. Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on. And so I was able to ask him some questions and get some really interesting insights about what it takes to make it in this sort of line of work. And another big highlight for the podcast was Robert Mullenbrock. He's definitely probably the most accomplished academic that I've had the privilege of having on this show. And so that was definitely a big highlight as well. He's the oldest person that I've had. I think he's like 91 or something.
I'm not sure. We share a birthday, though. I know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Libra.
Yeah.
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 But he was great because, man, he knows so much about Southern Illinois nature and plants that there's bits in that podcast that I think can be held onto for a long time, and things that have been undiscovered in Southern Illinois that he mentions in the podcast that I think that's just a really a time capsule too for that episode.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. My favorite one was with Mom.
Oh, yeah.
We did. So we did.
The mom's retirement from Art Starts. Retirement, yeah, from Art Starts.
Yeah.
17 years.
Yeah.
And that was a great one because we all were able to get on it. You, us three, and Mom, right? So that was cool to reflect back and to have that as well. Yeah, that's definitely a highlight.
Yeah, I'm really glad we have that. This, that we can look back on too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to zoom people in. So a big part of it is talking to people outside of that I can't have in the studio. So, talking to my friend Reza in San Francisco, Felipe in Manchester, and being able to have further conversation. So the podcast, bam, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to do more. So keep listening.
Okay. So the big moment.
Okay.
Should we do a drum roll, Maggie?
Will I mess up the sounds? Ooh, yeah, maybe.
All right.
Number 1.
So the number 1 moment of 2022 is buying this building and property.
Wow.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's something I haven't made public at all. Earlier this year, we were able to have the opportunity to purchase this building and the property attached to it. And it's a big, scary thing, a huge undertaking. This is a 100-year-old building. It's been here for a long time. It's older than me. God willing, it'll be here after I'm long gone. But it's a huge, scary thing. But the opportunity knocked, and I felt like I had to answer it at that time. So that's what we did. We bought the building. It's a huge, huge undertaking. But man, it's probably the biggest accomplishment I've ever done.
Yeah,
being able to pull that off.
Yeah, it's a really big deal to buy a house or anything, and much less a 100-year-old huge building
Yeah. Commercial.
with a huge basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big undertaking.
It really is. So I wear many hats, and now property owner, manager, you know, I have to go on the roof if there's a leak. I have to go in the basement if there's this or that, you know. So that's been a whole learning thing too, just like building stuff. And there's a ton of room to grow in that. You know, and you know, some people might think it's crazy to do that, to buy this building, but you know, I think time will show that it was a good move to do. So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So now we have some tangible assets attached to the building, to the business.
There it is.
Yeah.
So looking forward to doing a lot more, you know, in this space, to be able to, you know, just grow the business, grow the cultural impact, to grow it all. And just to have people, again, going back to the highlight of the people. There's so many people that can come here, and it really is. It opens so many doors, and it gives just a reason for people to come. People are just drawn to this area now through the whole revitalization effort. I feel lucky that we got in pretty early, I feel like, on that, and played a part in help shaping that. And so now people come back to the coffee shop, or they go to the bar, or they go wherever to eat, and we're right here. So it's just a great place that people can just come, and I can reconnect, and we can, you know, it's been amazing. So it's a big one.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on all the things you mentioned and all the things you didn't mention of this year. So
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
that we're not mentioning too, but this is just the highlights.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't share everything. There's a lot goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well,
So-
it was exciting hearing that top 10 list. Thank you for sharing all that with us.
Oh, thank you for being here and helping me share and reflect, and thanks for being a part of it
Yeah.
and helping me get where I need to go and helping support me.
You're welcome.
Means a
You're
lot.
welcome. You're our brother.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we're blessed, really. So, you know, just very thankful. Yeah, is there anything else that we want to share today before we sign off?
Not that I can think of. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That's not the New Year song.
Wait, this is the wrong music. Hold on. That's the sexy sax. Okay, hold on. Well, thank you, Lawrence. There it is. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Maggie, for being here on the podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the Union Street podcast. It's been a great year. Wow, 2022. It's one for the books, that's for sure. But we're not done. 2023 is right around the corner. So we hope you're setting goals. We hope you're doing some reflecting on your own, seeing what you can do to better yourself in 2023. So, Lawrence and Maggie, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You
Thanks
guys
for
are
having us.
awesome.
Until next time.
Oh, yeah. Until next time.
Hey, and maybe next time, next year, we'll do this again and have some more things to reflect on, some more exciting news. Hopefully we can share and just keep the journey going.
That's right.
Until then.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.